Chosen one. This is not a coincidence, and this is not just another video crossing your screen. Heaven has aligned this moment with your spirit on purpose. You were drawn here by divine appointment, not curiosity. Something in you recognized the timing before your mind could explain it. This is a holy interruption, and it carries weight. Chosen one. There are moments when heaven pauses, the noise quiets the confusion, and speaks directly to those who have endured in silence. This is one of those moments. You are standing at the edge of a supernatural shift, a turning point, where what was delayed is about to move, where what was taken is about to be addressed, and where what was hidden is about to surface with authority. The pressure you felt was not meant to break you. It was proof that something valuable was being preserved. Anointed One scripture reminds us that those who wait on the Lord renew their strength and rise with wings like eagles, as written in the book of Isaiah chapter 40 verse 31. This is that rising, not gradual, not symbolic, but real, measurable, and divinely enforced. Chosen one, prepare your heart. What follows is not information, it is confirmation. Heaven is intervening. A verdict has been released, and you are stepping into a season where divine justice, supernatural provision, and prophetic elevation begin to manifest. Chosen one. This is not a message you casually stumbled into. This is a summons. Something has shifted in the unseen, and your spirit recognized it before your mind caught up. There are moments when heaven does not whisper. It convenes, it rules, and it releases consequences into the natural. This is one of those moments. The season where you quietly endured, where you lost things you could not explain, where money slipped through your hands, not because you were careless, but because something was interfering. That season is closing, not fading, closing. And what comes next is not recovery, it is return. I need you to hear this clearly, not emotionally. You were not overlooked. You were not mismanaged by God. You were preserved while a case was being built. There is a difference between delay and denial, and you lived inside that tension for a long time. You kept asking yourself why things that should have worked did not, why people prospered from your effort while you were left to clean up the loss, why you were always the one paying the relational, emotional, or financial price. But what you did not see was that every moment of restraint, every time you chose integrity over retaliation, became evidence. Heaven does not rule on feelings, it rules on record. I have walked through this myself. There were seasons where I did everything right on paper and still watched resources drain, opportunities disappear, and people walk away with what I helped build. And the most confusing part was not the loss, it was the silence. That quiet where you pray and hear nothing, where you keep showing up but nothing seems to move. If you have lived there, you know it tests your identity more than your faith. You start wondering if you misheard God or if obedience is even worth it. But what I learned is this: silence is not absence. Sometimes it is deliberation. Chosen one, the ruling has been made. What was taken from you is not being negotiated, it is being enforced. This is not about emotional closure or apologies you may never receive. This is about alignment being restored. Heaven does not allow theft to go unanswered, whether that theft was financial, relational, reputational, or spiritual. And when the return comes, it does not come in fragments. It comes with weight. You may already feel it. A subtle shift in how tired you are. A strange calm where anxiety used to live. A sense that you are no longer scrambling even if nothing external has changed yet. That is not imagination. That is the early sign of enforcement. When heaven moves, it often starts internally before it manifests externally. Strength returns first. Clarity follows. Then provision catches up. There is a principle written deep into the structure of divine justice. When something is stolen and the thief is exposed, restoration is not optional, it is required. And the longer the delay, the greater the return. That is not motivational language, that is spiritual law. You were not being punished by waiting. You were being positioned so the return would not crush you when it arrived. You are not being restored to who you were before the loss. That version of you could not carry what is coming. You are being elevated beyond it. The loss refined you. The waiting strengthened you. The confusion sharpened your discernment. That is why you can sense that something different is approaching. You are not desperate anymore. You are alert. You are not chasing. You are aligning. And listen closely. Resistance may still show up briefly, not because the verdict is uncertain, but because distraction is the last tool the enemy uses when authority has shifted. Do not panic if old patterns try to knock one last time. Do not overreact if people who benefited from your pain suddenly feel uncomfortable around you. That discomfort is not your responsibility. It is a sign that the atmosphere has changed. You do not need to fight for what has already been granted. Fighting now would only pull you back into survival mode. Your role has changed. You are no longer pleading your case. You are receiving your portion. Stay grounded. Stay aligned. Stay honest with yourself. The return will require stewardship, not just celebration. Chosen one, you are not late. You are not behind. You are exactly where the timing demanded you be. The restoration you are stepping into was scheduled before the damage ever occurred. This is not a theory. This is not encouragement. This is a moment where survival gives way to possession, where prayer turns into embodiment, where what was promised begins to show up in form. And as we move forward from here, I want you to stay present, not emotional present. Because the next layer of this message is not just about what is coming back to you, but why it had to happen this way, and how to carry what heaven is now releasing without shrinking, sabotaging, or giving it away prematurely. Chosen one, now that the ruling has been released, the most important shift is not happening around you first, it is happening within you. Before anything returns to your hands, heaven restores your posture. Because if the posture stays the same, the cycle repeats. And God did not bring you this far to let you relive what already drained you once. This is the part many people misunderstand. They think restoration is about getting back what was lost. But true restoration begins with the recovery of discernment. You were not just robbed of money, you were robbed of peace, you were robbed of clarity. You were robbed of trust in your own instincts. Over time, that kind of loss trains you to second-guess yourself, to over-explain, to tolerate what your spirit already flagged as wrong. Heaven is correcting that first. You may notice that you are less available now, not out of pride, but out of awareness. Conversations that once pulled energy from you now feel heavy before they even start. Opportunities that look good on the surface no longer excite you the way they used to. That is not fear. That is alignment. When your discernment returns, your appetite changes. I remember a season where I kept reopening doors that God had already closed, because I did not trust that something better would come. I thought loyalty meant staying even when staying cost me my joy and my resources. And every time I did that, I delayed my own restoration. Not because God withheld it, but because I kept offering access to people and systems that were never assigned to my future. You may recognize that pattern in your own life. And if you do hear this without shame, you were surviving. Now you are being repositioned. Chosen one, heaven is not just giving you compensation, it is giving you boundaries. And boundaries are part of wealth. The ability to say no without guilt. The ability to pause without panic. The ability to walk away without needing closure. That is a level of freedom many never reach, even when they have resources. But you are being trained differently. This is why the delay felt so personal. It touched your identity. It forced you to confront where you were overgiving, overextending, and over-explaining. It exposed the places where you were trying to earn safety instead of standing in authority. And none of that was wasted. It became the refinement that now allows you to carry more without losing yourself. There is another principle you need to understand. Heaven does not restore casually. It restores completely. And complete restoration requires that old agreements be broken. Not spoken agreements, internal ones. The silent vows you made in pain. The promises you whispered to yourself, like I won't trust again, or I'll keep it small so I don't lose it, or I'll do it alone so no one can take from me again. Those vows made sense when you were bleeding, but they cannot follow you into this next season. You are not being restored to isolation. You are being restored to discerned connection. There is a difference. You will not let everyone in, but you will not shut everyone out either. That balance is part of your inheritance. You may also notice that people who once overlooked you are suddenly circling back. Some with curiosity, some with need, some with discomfort. Do not rush to interpret any of it. Observation comes before action. Let patterns reveal themselves. Restoration does not require you to re-enter old dynamics to prove you have changed. The fruit will speak for itself. Chosen one. I need to say this clearly. Not everyone who returns is meant to stay. Some are drawn back simply because the atmosphere around you has shifted. Your peace now has volume. Your clarity carries weight. That will attract attention. But attraction does not equal assignment. Discernment will tell you the difference. This is also why you may feel a new seriousness settling in your spirit. Not heaviness, seriousness. A sense that you are done playing with your time, your energy, your calling. That is not you becoming rigid. That is you becoming rooted. You have learned the cost of misalignment. You have lived the price of ignoring your inner warnings. Heaven is honoring that lesson by restoring your authority. And here is something that may surprise you. Restoration does not always arrive with excitement first. Sometimes it arrives with stillness, a deep exhale, a quiet knowing that you no longer have to chase, explain, or prove. That stillness is not emptiness, it is readiness. You are moving from asking for breakthrough to stewarding outcome, from praying for open doors to discerning which doors to walk through, from surviving loss to managing increase. And increase requires maturity. This is why the ruling did not come earlier. You were not ready to carry it then, not because you lacked faith, but because you were still learning how to stay whole under pressure. And now you are. You can feel it in the way your reactions have changed, in the way silence no longer scares you, in the way you can sit with uncertainty without unraveling. Chosen one. This next phase will require you to trust yourself again, to listen to the quiet signals, to honor the pause, to move when peace leads, not when fear pushes. That is how the return stays. That is how cycles end. Because what heaven is releasing to you now is not just restoration, it is establishment. And establishment means you are not going back to who you were. You are becoming who you were always meant to be. Chosen one. Now we move into the part of the journey where many people quietly sabotage themselves, not because they are disobedient, but because they are unfamiliar with ease. When you have lived under pressure for a long time, peace can feel suspicious. Stability can feel boring. Silence can feel like something is about to go wrong. And heaven knows this about the human soul. That is why restoration comes in layers. This is the layer where you learn how to live without bracing for impact. For a long time you woke up expecting resistance. You learned to scan rooms for threat. You learned to read people quickly because your survival depended on it. That skill protected you when you were vulnerable, but it cannot lead you where you are going now. If you keep expecting loss, you will misinterpret blessing. If you keep waiting for the other shoe to drop, you will miss the moment it lands in your hands instead. I want to speak to the part of you that feels like something is too good to be true. That voice is not wisdom, it is memory, and memory does not get to decide your future. Heaven is not experimenting with your life. It is not testing to see if this might work. The ruling that was made concerning you was deliberate, calculated, and final. And now the enforcement phase has begun. That means systems you did not even know were working against you are being dismantled. Connections that drained you are losing influence. Patterns that once repeated automatically are breaking without effort. That is not coincidence. That is correction. I have seen this happen in my own life. There was a time when chaos felt normal, and when things finally calmed down, I did not know how to rest inside it. I would unconsciously create pressure just to feel familiar again. It took time to realize that my nervous system had been trained by trauma, not by truth, and heaven had to retrain me for peace. You may be in that retraining right now. Chosen one. Peace is not passive. It is a position. And you are being positioned for increase that does not come with panic attached to it. Wealth that does not cost you your sleep. Influence that does not demand you betray your values. Visibility that does not require you to perform or pretend. But to carry that kind of increase, you must let go of the identity that learned how to survive chaos. This is where alignment becomes practical. You will be invited to slow down when your old instinct says rush. You will be invited to wait when your old fear says act now or lose it. You will be invited to trust timing instead of forcing outcomes. These moments are not delays, they are calibrations. You are learning to move with heaven instead of ahead of it. There is also something else happening beneath the surface. The people who once benefited from your overgiving are beginning to feel the absence of your access. Not because you cut them off dramatically, but because your energy has changed. You are no longer leaking. You are no longer compensating. You are no longer trying to be understood by people who never intended to see you clearly. And that shift alone is worth more than money. Chosen one. Your discernment is becoming quieter but stronger. You no longer need dramatic signs to know when something is off. Your body responds faster now. Your spirit signals earlier. You feel the misalignment before the words are spoken. That is maturity, and heaven trusts that. This is why you are being given more responsibility, not just more resources. The next phase of your life will involve stewardship of time, of energy, of relationships, of opportunity. You will be asked to choose quality over quantity, depth over speed, substance over noise, and you will, because you have already learned what happens when you don't. This is also the phase where comparison loses its grip. You are no longer measuring your progress against people who never walked your path. You are no longer rushing to keep up with timelines that were never assigned to you. Your pace has changed because your purpose has clarified, and clarity creates confidence. Chosen one, there is a kind of authority that comes from having nothing left to prove. You are stepping into that now. You do not need to announce your healing. You do not need to explain your growth. You do not need to justify your boundaries. The fruit will speak louder than any explanation ever could. This is how restoration becomes visible without you forcing it. You may also notice that certain desires are falling away. Things you once thought you wanted no longer feel aligned. That is not loss. That is refinement. Heaven is narrowing your focus so your energy is not scattered when the increase arrives. Because it is arriving. Not as chaos, not as overwhelm, but as alignment. And here is what I want you to remember as we close this segment. You are not being rushed into your future. You are being rooted into it. Nothing that is meant for you will require you to abandon your peace to obtain it. Nothing that is truly yours will need to be chased at the expense of your integrity. You are learning to live from a place where blessing feels natural, not borrowed, where provision feels steady, not fragile, where favor feels deserved, not accidental. Chosen one. This is the point where survival officially ends. And as we move into what comes next, we will talk about how to recognize the doors that are opening now and how to walk through them without carrying the weight of the past into a future that no longer requires it. Chosen one. Now we arrive at a delicate and powerful phase of restoration, the moment when doors begin to open and heaven watches how you walk through them. Not every open door is a test, but every open door is an invitation to move differently than you used to. This is where many people lose what they prayed for, not because they were ungrateful, but because they brought an old identity into a new environment. You are not being invited back into what drained you. You are being introduced to what can sustain you. The next opportunities that come into your life will not demand that you prove yourself. They will recognize you. That is how you know they are aligned. You will feel less pressure to perform and more permission to be present. If something requires you to abandon your peace to access it, pause. Heaven does not rush its heirs, it prepares them. I want to ground this in reality for a moment. Many of the losses you endured came not from bad intentions alone, but from misalignment. You stayed too long. You gave too much. You ignored early signals because you were taught that endurance meant loyalty, and loyalty meant suffering. But that is not a kingdom definition of faithfulness. Faithfulness is alignment over attachment. Chosen one. You are no longer in the season where endurance proves your worth. Your worth has already been established. Now alignment proves your wisdom. As restoration unfolds, you may be tempted to re-engage with old narratives, old explanations, old justifications, old versions of yourself. Resist that pull, not aggressively, gently. You do not owe anyone access to your healing process. You do not need to narrate your growth to be valid. Silence in this season is not weakness. It is authority. This is especially important as financial doors begin to open. Money is not just a resource. It amplifies whatever posture you carry. If fear leads, money will magnify fear. If clarity leads, money will magnify clarity. That is why heaven waited until your inner posture shifted before releasing the return. You are now capable of receiving without leaking. You may find yourself being trusted again by people, by systems, by life itself. And that trust may feel unfamiliar. There may be a part of you that expects betrayal to follow. That is not intuition. That is memory. Intuition feels calm. Trauma feels urgent. Learn the difference. Your future depends on it. Chosen one, you are also stepping into a season where your presence will open doors for others. Your story, without you preaching it, will become a mirror for people who are still in survival mode. This is not about platform, it is about embodiment. When you live restored, you give others permission to believe that restoration is possible. But hear this clearly. You are not responsible for saving anyone. You are responsible for stewarding what has been given to you. There is a difference between influence and overextension. You will know the difference by how your spirit feels after the interaction. Life-giving connections energize you. Draining ones leave you scattered. Pay attention. Another shift you may notice is that your tolerance for chaos is lower now. Environments that once felt normal now feel loud, heavy, or misaligned. That is not you becoming sensitive. That is you becoming calibrated. When your nervous system heals, disorder becomes uncomfortable. That is a sign of restoration, not weakness. Chosen one. The enemy does not need to steal from you anymore. The old access points are closing. What remains is the responsibility to protect your peace, your time, and your focus. Not by building walls, but by honoring boundaries. Boundaries are not rejection, they are clarity, and clarity attracts provision. You may also feel a new pull toward simplicity, not less vision, but less noise, less explaining, less multitasking, more presence, more depth, more intentionality. That is how sustainable increase is built, not through constant motion, but through rooted action. This is where wisdom replaces urgency. I want to address something else that may surface now. Grief. Not because something is wrong, but because you are closing a chapter that defined you for a long time. There can be a strange sadness when you realize how much you survived, how much you normalized, how much you endured quietly. Allow that grief without letting it pull you backward. Honor the past without living in it. You are not dishonoring your journey by moving on. You are completing it. Chosen one. Heaven is not just restoring what was stolen. It is restoring order. And order feels calm. It feels steady. It feels unforced. If something feels chaotic, rushed, or manipulative, it is not part of this restoration. You no longer need to entertain it out of fear of missing out. You cannot miss what is assigned to you. As we move forward, you will begin to see patterns resolve themselves without confrontation. Situations that once required explanation will correct themselves without your involvement. That is what happens when justice is in motion. You do not chase truth. Truth moves on its own. And now, as this segment closes, I want you to hold this truth. You are not stepping into restoration to prove anything. You are stepping into it to live freely. What is coming will not require you to be smaller, quieter, or more agreeable. It will require you to be honest, present, and aligned. In the next part, we will speak about how to recognize divine timing in motion, how to know when to act, when to wait, and how to trust the unfolding without slipping back into fear or control. Chosen one. Now we step into the phase where timing becomes everything, not urgency, not pressure, timing. This is where heaven teaches you how to move without striving, how to act without anxiety, and how to trust the unfolding without trying to control it. Many people miss this lesson and end up exhausting themselves even after restoration begins. You will not. Divine timing does not announce itself loudly. It reveals itself through alignment. You will notice that certain actions feel effortless while others suddenly feel heavy. Pay attention to that. Ease is not laziness, it is a signal. When heaven opens a window, it does not require you to force your way through it. The opening creates its own momentum. There were seasons when you had to push just to survive. You had to initiate everything. You had to be the one who followed up, reminded, adjusted, compensated, and held things together. That season trained you to associate effort with progress. But now progress will come through obedience, not exhaustion. I want to speak to the instinct in you that feels the need to act quickly when something finally works. That instinct was formed in lack. It is understandable, but it no longer serves you. When provision begins to flow, the temptation is to grab, to secure, to overcommit. Resist that urge. This season is not about grabbing, it is about receiving. Chosen one. What is truly assigned to you will remain open long enough for peace to lead you into it. You do not need to rush divine doors. Rushing creates misalignment. Alignment creates sustainability. You may notice that invitations are coming without you chasing them. Conversations are opening without you forcing them. Opportunities are resurfacing that you once thought were lost forever. This is not coincidence. This is timing catching up to obedience. The delay did not cancel the assignment. It preserved it until you were ready. I remember a moment when an opportunity returned to me years after I had released it. At the time, I thought I had missed my chance. But when it came back, I realized I was no longer the same person who would have mishandled it. The delay was not punishment, it was protection. That is often the case with you as well. Chosen one. You are entering a season where patience becomes power. Not passive waiting, but grounded readiness. You are no longer scanning the horizon in fear. You are anchored. You can feel when something aligns. You can sense when something is premature. This discernment will save you years. This is also where you must learn to let go of timelines that were never yours. There are goals you set in survival mode that no longer fit your spirit. Release them without regret. They served you when you needed them. They are not required to follow you into alignment. Let heaven redefine success for you. Success in this season will feel quieter but deeper. Less announcement, more embodiment, less reaction, more authority. Chosen one. When divine timing activates, you will notice a shift in your internal dialogue. The frantic questions quiet down. The overthinking slows. The need for constant reassurance fades. You begin to trust yourself again, not blindly, but calmly. That trust is earned through endurance, and you have earned it. There may still be moments where fear tries to resurface, whispering that if you do not act now, you will lose everything again. When that happens, pause. Fear rushes, wisdom waits, and wisdom is now your companion. You are not here to repeat cycles. You are here to close them. This is also the phase where rest becomes productive. You may feel called to slow your pace in ways that feel counterintuitive. Honor that. Rest is not withdrawal, it is recalibration. When you rest, your discernment sharpens, your creativity returns, your vision expands. That is not wasted time, that is preparation. Chosen one. Heaven is aligning multiple layers of your life at once. Finances, relationships, identity, purpose. That kind of alignment cannot be rushed. It must settle. Let it settle. Let yourself adjust to stability. Let your nervous system learn that safety can last. There is a reason why the return did not arrive in chaos. Chaos would have felt familiar. Peace feels new, and new requires trust. You are also being trained to recognize when to say no without explanation. Not everything deserves a response. Not every opportunity deserves consideration. Not every voice deserves access. Silence is sometimes the most aligned answer. This is not arrogance. This is stewardship. Chosen one. The timing you are stepping into is precise. Missed moments are being redeemed. Lost ground is being restored. But it is happening in a way that protects you, not overwhelms you. That is how you know it is divine. And here is something important to understand. Divine timing does not remove effort completely. It redirects it. You will still work. You will still build. You will still show up. But the work will feel focused instead of frantic. The building will feel guided instead of forced. The showing up will feel purposeful instead of reactive. This is how legacy is formed. As we close this segment, I want you to remember this truth. You do not need to anticipate every step ahead. You only need to stay aligned with the step in front of you. Clarity will meet you as you move. Peace will confirm your direction. And what is meant for you will not require you to abandon yourself to receive it. In the next part, we will speak about how to steward the return itself, how to protect what is coming, how to grow it without fear, and how to walk in increase without losing the humility and wisdom that carried you here. Chosen one. Now we come to the moment where the return is no longer a concept, but a reality that must be stewarded. This is the part of the journey where many people ask God for more, but very few are taught how to hold what arrives without fear, without guilt, and without leaking it back into old patterns. Heaven does not just restore to bless you, it restores to establish you. Stewardship is not about control, it is about awareness. When resources begin to return, money opportunities influence stability. The first test is not generosity, it is security. If you still feel unsafe inside, you will either hoard out of fear or give away what was meant to sustain you just to feel accepted. Neither is alignment. Alignment knows when to release and when to retain. I want to speak to the part of you that learned to survive by overgiving. You were generous even when it cost you. You shared even when you were empty. You showed up even when you were unseen. That heart is honorable, but it must be guided now. This season requires discerned generosity, not self-erasure. Chosen one, you are no longer proving your goodness. Heaven already validated it. Now you are learning how to honor yourself without guilt. That is not selfish. That is wisdom. You may notice that when something good happens now, a strange discomfort tries to follow it. A voice that says, "Don't get used to this, or it won't last, or you don't deserve ease." That voice is not truth. It is residue, and residue fades when it is not fed. You are allowed to settle into blessing. I remember when stability first returned to my life. I kept waiting for the disruption. I couldn't fully enjoy the calm because I was trained to expect loss. It took intentional stillness to retrain my nervous system to understand that safety was no longer temporary. You may be going through that same recalibration now. Be patient with yourself. Chosen one. The return you are receiving is not fragile. It is protected. But protection does not mean passivity. It means discernment in how you build where you invest and who you allow close to your process. This is where wisdom becomes practical. You will feel guided to slow your decisions, to read fine print, to ask deeper questions, to wait before committing. That is not fear. That is clarity. Clarity does not rush. You are also stepping into a season where your voice carries more weight. People will seek your perspective. Your decisions will influence outcomes beyond your own life. That is not pressure. That is confirmation. Heaven does not elevate without equipping, but with influence comes responsibility, not to rescue others, but to model alignment. People will learn more from how you live than from what you say. Your calm will speak, your boundaries will teach, your peace will preach. Chosen one, you are not meant to return to hustle disguised as faith. You are meant to move with intention. Hustle drains, intention sustains. When you feel yourself slipping back into urgency, pause. Ask yourself, is this aligned, or am I reacting to old fear? The answer will come quickly if you listen. This is also the phase where comparison may try to re-enter. You may see others advancing faster, louder, or more visibly. Do not be distracted. Visibility does not equal stability, and speed does not equal favor. Your path is being fortified, not just accelerated. Remember, you are not being restored to impress anyone. You are being restored to fulfill purpose. Chosen. One part of stewarding the return is learning to receive without explanation. You do not need to justify your blessing. You do not need to downplay your progress. You do not need to apologize for ease. Gratitude does not require guilt. Let yourself enjoy what is being restored. There will also be moments where you are invited to invest time, energy, resources into spaces that nourish your spirit. Do that without fear, but do it from overflow, not obligation. If something feels heavy, forced, or manipulative, step back. Heaven does not coerce, it leads. You are being trained to recognize alignment through peace, not pressure. This is how you protect what has been returned. Not by guarding it anxiously, but by living in truth. Truth about your limits, truth about your needs, truth about your capacity. When you live honestly, the return stays. Chosen one. The season ahead will require consistency more than intensity. Small aligned actions repeated over time will build more than dramatic bursts ever could. This is how legacy forms. Quietly, steadily, faithfully. And here is something important to understand. Stewardship includes rest. Rest is not optional anymore. It is part of your assignment. Rest keeps you clear. Rest keeps you connected. Rest keeps you sensitive to the subtle movements of heaven. You are no longer running from lack. You are learning how to live from abundance without losing yourself. That is a skill, and you are learning it now. As we close this segment, I want you to take this with you. What is being restored to you is meant to remain. You do not have to rush it, hide it, or give it away to feel safe. You are allowed to hold it with open hands and a grounded heart. In the final part, we will speak about what this restoration ultimately leads to, not just for you, but for the people connected to your life, your lineage, and the legacy you are now being prepared to carry. Chosen one. This is where the journey widens beyond you. Restoration never stops at the individual. When heaven completes a work in one life, it releases permission for many others to rise through that same opening. You were not restored just to recover what was stolen. You were restored to become a living marker of what alignment produces over time. This is legacy. Legacy is not built through noise. It is built through consistency, through decisions made when no one is watching, through boundaries held when compromise would be easier, through obedience chosen quietly again and again. That is why your process was so thorough. Heaven was not just healing you, it was preparing you to carry something that will outlive seasons. You may already sense it. A responsibility that does not feel heavy, but real. A knowing that your life is no longer just your own. Not in a restrictive way, but in a meaningful one. People are watching how you move now, some consciously, many unconsciously. Your restoration is speaking louder than your explanations ever could. Chosen one. This is why your healing had to be deep. Surface healing could not support the weight of what you are now called to steward. Heaven was not interested in a quick turnaround. It was interested in a lasting one. There is something powerful about a life that no longer needs validation. A person who has been through fire and came out with peace. That kind of presence shifts rooms. It calms anxious systems. It exposes dysfunction without accusation. You carry that now. And this is where your lineage comes into view. The battles you faced did not begin with you. Patterns of lack, betrayal, silence, overgiving, and misalignment ran through your family line long before you were aware of them. You felt them even when you could not name them. And instead of repeating them, you confronted them, not aggressively, but faithfully. That is why the resistance was so strong. When one person chooses awareness in a system built on avoidance, the system reacts. When one person chooses alignment in a pattern built on survival, the pattern fights back. What you endured was not random, it was generational, and now it is broken. Chosen one. The restoration you are walking into is not just financial or emotional, it is structural. It is altering what is possible for those who come after you. children, students, mentees, people who will never know your name but will benefit from your obedience. This is how heaven multiplies one yes into many futures. You are a breaker of cycles. That is why the reward had to be complete. Partial restoration would not sustain the legacy you are meant to build. Heaven restores with foresight. It gives with tomorrow in mind. As you move forward, you will notice that your decisions carry ripple effects. What you choose now will open doors not just for you, but for others. And that is not pressure, that is purpose. Purpose feels steady, not frantic. Chosen one. There will be moments when you are tempted to shrink back into privacy out of fear of responsibility. Do not confuse humility with hiding. You are not called to be invisible. You are called to be anchored. Presence without performance, authority without ego. Your life will teach without preaching. You will also be given opportunities to lead formally or informally. Do not overthink them. Leadership in this season is less about instruction and more about example. People will learn how to hold peace by watching how you hold yours. They will learn how to steward increase by watching how you manage yours. They will learn how to recover from loss by seeing how you no longer live as someone defined by it. This is how restoration spreads. Chosen one, remember this. You do not owe the world access to your story, but you do owe yourself the freedom to live it fully. No more shrinking to make others comfortable. No more delaying obedience out of fear of being misunderstood. Those who are meant to understand will. Those who are not will be redirected elsewhere. Heaven handles the sorting. As your life stabilizes, you will feel a new kind of confidence. Not loud, not defensive, grounded. You will no longer feel the need to explain your boundaries, justify your pace, or defend your decisions. Clarity has that effect. When you know who you are and where you are going, noise loses its influence. This is establishment. And establishment does not mean the absence of challenge. It means challenges no longer define you. They refine your response, not your identity. Chosen one. The restoration of your life is now part of a larger story, one that did not begin with you and will not end with you. You are a bridge between what was broken and what will be built, between what was endured and what will be enjoyed. And this is why the process had to be thorough. You are no longer waiting for permission. You are walking in assignment. You are no longer hoping things will change. You are living as proof that they already have, and that proof carries weight in the spiritual realm. As this final segment closes, I want you to take a moment to acknowledge what you have survived, not with sorrow, but with honor. The version of you that endured made this moment possible. Thank them, then release them. You are not meant to live from survival anymore. You are meant to live from alignment. Chosen one. This is not the end of your journey. It is the foundation of a new one built on truth, peace, discernment, and sustainable increase, one that carries blessing without burnout, influence without compromise, and legacy without fear. Heaven has ruled, the return has begun, and you are walking forward not as someone hoping to be chosen, but as one who knows they already are. Chosen one. As this message comes to rest in your spirit, receive this truth with reverence. You are not standing at the edge of something coming. You are standing in the center of something already released. Heaven has ruled. The court has spoken. And what was delayed is now in motion under divine authority. You will not step forward carrying old fear. You will not hesitate when favor finds you. You have been tested, refined, and trusted. Trusted with increase, trusted with influence, trusted with stewardship that blesses not only you, but those connected to your obedience. Your life is no longer a record of survival. It is living evidence of divine justice fulfilled. Let this be your final internal shift. No more shrinking, no more waiting for permission. You have been approved, summoned, and crowned. Walk now with holy boldness, not to prove anything but to fulfill what heaven has already declared. The gavel has fallen, the case is closed. Restoration is not approaching, it has begun. If this word found you, it is because this is your Kairos moment. Not coincidence, not chance, divine appointment. Stay aligned, stay faithful, stay grateful for what is already unfolding. And if your spirit agrees, let your voice seal it. Comment softly from the heart. Stay connected. Carry this word forward. You are crowned, you are chosen, and heaven is walking with you now.